Hi guys, welcome you all to my channel Explore Edu to Teach. So, today we'll be starting with one of the most important subjects of electronics, electrical instrumentation, and similarly the same branch of engineering, that is network analysis. Without this subject, you cannot survive in this kind of engineering. Mostly the students who take up such branches of engineering are the ones who deal with this subject, who like it. And I would like to say it in a very honest manner that even if you don't like it, but if you have this subject and you have taken such branches of engineering, trust me, you have to start liking this subject. You have no other option. Because as you move forward in the further semesters in such branches of engineering that I mentioned, you will have to deal with these concepts. These concepts will form the basis. So if you don't understand this concept, trust me guys, it's going to be difficult for you to survive in these branches of engineering. So understanding network analysis is very important because it has its basic principles. These principles will be used in the higher semesters when you deal with complex subjects. So understand the subject very well, understand the topic very well, and hence I've introduced this particular subject at the initial time only so that your basics get cleared and later on you can deal with the complex subjects. This subject also forms a part of 11th and 12th, also forms a part of diploma and again in engineering. Why is this subject given a lot of importance? Because all the complex level subjects, as I mentioned, is dependent upon this subject. So please make it a point that you understand this lecture well, note down properly, download the PDF which is present in the description box and share it to as many people as you can so that every one of them can get benefited from it and can learn the basic concepts well. It's my humble request, please watch this entire video, make a proper note of it because here I'm going to tell you about the basic concept of network analysis, not only of network analysis but also about the basic concept of electronics or similarly branch of engineering. You have to understand these concepts very well. If you don't understand it, please rewind back, hear it again. I'm sure you will understand it. So please understand the concepts very well. As I mentioned, the PDF will be present in the description box. Download it from there, keep it with you and study it very, very, very well. Once you understand this thing properly, it will be easier for you to understand the complex topics later. So please understand these things very well. I'm sure you might have learned these things in your 11th and 12th grade during your diploma days if once you have done it. But if not, now I'll be explaining it to you in as much easy manner I can. Please try to understand. So today we'll be covering certain basic part of network analysis. Although here there are 5 topics are mentioned, I won't be covering all the 5 topics in this lecture. I will be covering the initial 3 topics, that is introduction part, type of network elements and KVL and KCL. The remaining topics will be covered in the coming lectures. So I'm trying to make short videos so that you understand the concept properly, you make a note of it and learning later things will be easier. If you look at the content page, over here you will find topics like type of network elements, KVL, KCL. These are the basis of this subject. Not only of this subject, but also these branches of engineering. This will have its application immediately in the other concepts that you learn. Like you can see mesh analysis, nodal analysis, source transformation, and all other things. Because when you enter into such branches of engineering, you have to understand one thing for sure, that you will have circuits and the circuits will have these principles, will have these concepts. So understand today's lecture very well. Hence I'm not covering all the concepts mentioned in the content table. I'm just covering the initial 3 concepts so that you understand properly and you are able to grasp all the things very well. I hope I'm clear. So let us begin with the first part of today's lecture, that is the introduction part. So before beginning with a lot of complex things, what is KVL, what is KCL, what is different kind of analysis, you should understand what is network analysis. What do you mean by a network? What do you mean by a circuit? If you understand the basic network and what do you mean by a circuit, definitely learning the further concepts will be easier. So let's begin. A network is an assembly of different electrical elements So please read this line well. So when I have different electrical elements, which I'll be talking about further, like a resistor, inductor, capacitor. So even if there is an assembly of that, that becomes a network. So what do you mean by a circuit? You can read it. A circuit is a closed path consisting of different electrical elements. So you can understand over here, there's a slight difference between a network and a circuit. A network is nothing else than an assembly of different electrical elements. They need not be in a closed path, but a circuit has to be a closed path. That is the biggest difference between a network and a circuit. So before learning about the complex things, you should be able to understand what is a network and what is a circuit. Are they same? Are they different? Mostly they are on the same ground, but one very big difference is that a circuit will always be in a closed path, whereas network need not be in a closed path. And hence I can say circuit, every circuit is a network, but every network may or may not be a circuit. How do you understand it? Let's see. Every circuit is a network. Definitely, I have a particular circuit in which all the network elements are present and I am putting it in a closed path. So that is a network. But every network may or may not be a circuit, because network is a particular part wherein you have different electrical elements coming together. It can be in a closed path, it may or may not be in a closed path also. But for a circuit to happen, it has to be present in a closed path. Hence, I repeat again, a network is just an assembly of different electrical elements. But a circuit is an assembly of different electrical elements, but it has to be in the form of a closed path. I hope I'm very clear. Hence, we say every circuit is a network, but every network may or may not be a circuit. I hope I'm very clear over here. Let us go with the formulas. The formulae for voltage across and current through network elements. Please understand this terminologies very well. You should know it very well. When I say voltage across, always we measure voltage across a particular element, and we measure current through a particular element. As an engineer, you should be able to use these terminologies well. Never say it's voltage through an element. It is voltage across an element. Never say it is current across an element. It is current through an element. So I hope I'm making you understand what I want to say. So a network is nothing else than an assembly of different elements. A circuit is also an assembly of different elements only, but it is present in the closed form. I hope I'm very clear over here. And voltage is always present across the element, and current is present through the element. Now I guess we are seeing some formulas of resistor, inductor and capacitor, which I'm sure many of you might have seen, but still I'll repeat for you. Resistor voltage. So voltage across a resistor. It is not voltage through a resistor. Voltage across a resistor is equal to I into R, where I is the current through the resistor and R is the resistor value. For an inductor, it is V is equal to L into di by dt, whereas V is the voltage across the inductor, L is the inductor value, and I is the differentiated form, di by dt is the differentiated form of the current. Similarly, I is equal to 1 by L integral minus infinity to t V of t dt. Similarly, capacitor, you have V is equal to 1 by C integral minus infinity to t I of t dt, and I is equal to C into dV by dt. Here V is the voltage across that particular element. It can be resistor, inductor, capacitor, and I is the current through that particular element. It can be resistor, inductor, capacitor. I hope I'm very clear. This is the basic part. I'm sure many of you will be knowing it, but the ones who don't know it, please make a note of it. Next, what are the different kind of network elements? Okay, now we know there are different network elements such as resistor, capacitor, inductor, voltage source, current source. But how do you classify these network elements? So the first classification is linear and non-linear. So what do you mean by linear? You can see it on the screen. Linear elements are those whose VI characteristics consists of a straight line passing through origin. VI characteristic is nothing else than voltage and current characteristic. Okay. So there are two important terminology over here. A particular element is considered to be linear element only and only if the VI characteristic of that particular element has two important parameters. First of all, it has to be a straight line, that is, it has to be a constant slope, and secondly, it has to pass through the origin. If you see the first diagram over here, this diagram has a particular straight line passing through the origin, and it is a complete straight line. There is no changes in the slope. Hence, it is a linear element. Now, when we learn non-linear, I think you can better differentiate with a linear element. So, non-linear elements are those whose VI characteristic consists of a line that is not having a constant slope and also doesn't necessarily pass through the origin. So, again, there are two parameters for a non-linear element. Firstly, it doesn't have a constant slope, and it may or may not pass through the origin. So I repeat myself, for a linear element, the VI characteristic always has to pass through the origin, and I'm not saying or, and it has to have a straight line, a constant slope. But if any one of this fails, it becomes a non-linear element. Even if both of them fail, it becomes a non-linear element. So if you look at the diagram over here, it is passing through origin. So yes, it is passing one parameter. But the next parameter is that it has to be a continuous straight line, which is not a straight line. Hence, it is a non-linear element. If you see the second parameter, yes, it is a straight line, but it is not passing through origin. Hence, again, it becomes a non-linear element. I hope I am very clear between a linear and non-linear. Okay. The next is active passive. The active elements are those elements in which the power is delivered. Power is positive in this case. Okay. So what happens in case of active elements? We are always delivering the power. That particular element will deliver the power. Whereas in case of passive elements are those elements in which the power is absorbed. Power is negative in this case. So in case of active element, you will always find the power is delivered, whereas in case of passive element, the power is always absorbed. So if you look over here, in case of active element, the current is given out from a positive part of a voltage source. Whereas in case of your passive voltage source, a current always enters inside the positive part of the voltage source. I hope I am very clear. We will complete this thing. Again, we will summarize. So don't worry if you are having some confusion, but just try to understand the basic terminologies now. What is linear? What is non-linear? What is active? What is passive? Next, what is bilateral, unilateral? So this is another classification of network elements. So here if you see, the elements in which the voltage is reversed, the resistance remains same in terms of magnitude and sign are bilateral, else they are unilateral. So if I have to make you understand in simple terms, let us try to understand both of these diagrams which are given over here and how they are classified into bilateral and unilateral. If you see the first one, that is a bilateral. If I have a positive voltage source, right? This part is my positive part of my V, and this part is my negative part of my V. This is a positive x-axis, this is a negative x-axis. So when I give a positive voltage source and I'll get a positive current, if you see over here, and my resistance, which is V by I, will be positive. Now what happens is that if I come to the negative part of my axis, here I have reversed my voltage, right? If the voltage is reversed, so from positive I am changing it to negative voltage. So again my current becomes negative. So my V by I, V is negative, I is also negative. So my resultant resistance will be positive. So in the first case, when the voltage is positive, the current is positive, R is equal to V by I, both are positive, the resistance is positive. When my V is negative, my current is also negative, my resistance will become positive. So in both the cases wherein I am changing or reversing my voltage, still my resistance will be positive only. I hope I'm very clear with what is bilateral. Then what do you mean by unilateral? So it is completely opposite of it. In case of bilateral, when I reverse my voltage from positive to negative, my value of my resistance and my magnitude remain the same. But in case of unilateral, as soon as I reverse my voltage, my value or the magnitude of the resistance will not be the same. So let us understand. When I have positive voltage, my current is positive, hence R is equal to V by I. V is positive over here, I is positive, hence resistance is positive. But as soon as I reverse my voltage, my current become, my voltage is negative, but my current is positive, hence my resistance will be a negative value. Obviously resistance is always a positive value, but in this case, since my voltage is negative and my current is positive, the magnitude will be different as compared to a positive voltage and a positive current. Hence this becomes a unilateral element. I hope I am very clear to you. Hence, let us again make a quick short summary about what are the different type of network elements. So linear network element is that particular network element in which you have a straight line passing through origin and the slope is constant of the Vi characteristic. Whereas in case of non-linear element, any one of the two parameter, that is constant slope and passing through origin, will fail, or either both the parameter will fail. Then it becomes a non-linear element. I hope I'm very clear. Next, you have active and passive. So in case of my active, the power is always delivered, whereas in case of my passive, the power is always absorbed. For example, in a voltage source, a active voltage source will always emit the power, hence it is coming out of a positive terminal of my voltage source. Whereas in case of my passive voltage sources, always the current will enter into my positive terminal, that it is absorbs the power, hence it is a passive voltage source or a passive element. Bilateral, unilateral, I told you about bilateral. As soon as you change the voltage value to reverse it to some opposite sign, the magnitude of my resistance and the value should remain the same. So here if you see, positive voltage, positive current, resistance is positive. I reverse my voltage, negative voltage, I get negative current, resistance positive, hence bilateral. But if I consider this unilateral, I have positive voltage, I have positive current, the resistance is positive. If I reverse my voltage and I have positive current, my resultant resistance will not be of the same sign. It will be negative. Hence, it is unilateral. I hope I'm very clear with the network elements. Now, this part KVL, I'm sure many of you will be knowing it. However, if you don't know, I'll try to explain here very well. It's my humble request. Please understand this concept very well. First we have the KVL, next we have the KCL. Please understand this very well. All other networks that we will be solving further in this subject or in any other related subjects, you will have to apply KVL and KCL without any doubt. So understand the concept very well, understand the standard notations that we are using. Once you understand this very well, the other concepts will definitely be easier for you. But here if you have a doubt, trust me guys, you're going to have a difficult time further. So please take it very seriously. So what is KVL? It is Kirchhoff voltage law. It states that in any closed circuit or mesh, the algebraic sum of voltage drop is equal to 0. So it says that whenever in a closed loop, in a closed circuit, I apply the voltage drops, the algebraic sum will be equal to 0. So we will be seeing its application in the form of a numerical. But before going to this numerical, let us understand few notations that we will be using. Once you understand these notations well, solving the numerical will be easier. So understand. So when I'm moving along a voltage source and I'm moving finally out of a negative terminal of voltage source, I'll be considering that as minus V. But if I'm moving out of a positive terminal of a voltage source, I'll be considering that as plus V. Now, when I'm applying I into R, if my current is in the same direction in which I am moving, if you see over here, the current is in this direction, even I am moving also in this direction. So my resultant voltage I'm considering as minus of I into R. However, if my current is in this direction and I am moving in this direction, I'll be taking plus I into R. Please understand this properly. I will repeat. When we are moving from positive terminal towards the negative terminal, I'll take minus V. When I'm moving from minus terminal to a plus terminal, I'll be taking plus V. When my direction in which I'm moving is in the same direction of my current, I'll be taking as minus of I into R, the voltage drop across the resistor. Similarly, when my current is in the opposite direction in which I am moving, my voltage across the resistor will be plus I into R. I hope I'm very clear. So let us apply KVL for our first question. Okay. So in this question, if you see, they've given us two closed loops. One is this, other one is this, and the third one is the entire big closed loop. So we'll try to apply KVL based on the laws that we have learned over here and try to understand the value of I1 and I2. So first, applying KVL to mesh 1. Mesh 1 means nothing else than this one. So plus 35, because here I will be moving in this direction. Okay. So plus 35, why? Because I am moving in this direction and I am coming out of a positive terminal of a voltage source. Hence I am using plus 35. So here if you see, when I was moving out of a positive voltage source, I was taking plus V. Hence I am applying this in the numerical. When I am moving in this direction, I am taking plus 35 because I am moving out of a positive terminal. Next, minus of 3 into I. So I'm moving minus of 3 into I. My direction and the current direction, if you see, will be in the same direction. Hence, I'm taking minus of I into R. If you look over here, my direction and the current direction is the same. Hence, I'm moving minus of I into R. Hence, minus of 3 into I. Minus of 2 into, if you look over here, through this 2, there is I1 also coming, there is I2 also coming. However, since I am in the mesh 1, I'll be taking I1 as my primary mesh and I2 as my secondary mesh. Secondary current, I'm sorry. And when I'm in mesh 2, I'll be taking I2 as my primary current and I1 as my secondary current. Hence, I'm taking minus of 2 into I1 minus I2 because through this 2, both I1 and I2 both are flowing, is equal to 0 because the algebraic sum of voltage drop is equal to 0. I'll explain it to you again. I'm applying KVL to mesh 1. So it is plus 35 minus of 3 into I plus 35 because I'm moving out of a positive voltage source. You can map whatever I'm saying onto the rules over here. Then my current direction is in the same direction in which I am moving. So it is minus of 3 into I. Then it is minus of 2 into I1 minus I2. I'm taking I1 first because I'm in the mesh 1. In the next equation, I'll be taking I2 first because I'll be in the mesh 2. So I hope I'm very clear with the first equation. Applying KVL to mesh 2. So I am applying minus of 40. Why so? Because I am moving in this direction. I am coming out of a negative terminal of a voltage source. So I am using minus 40. Then I'll have minus of 2 into I2 minus I1 this time. You see here, minus of 2 into I2 minus I1. Why this is so? Because I am in the mesh 2. I'll be giving primary preference to current 2 than current 1 since I'm in the mesh 2. and then minus of 4 into I2, because my current direction and my moving direction is the same. Hence, I have this equation. I hope I am very clear. I'll explain to you these two equations once again so that you are very clear. When I'll be telling the equations, please keep on seeing the rules I've explained over here. You'll understand it very well. It is plus 35 because I'm moving out of a positive voltage source, minus of 3 into I1 because my moving direction and my current direction is the same, minus of 2 into I1 minus I2, that is because my I1 is my primary current and I2 is my secondary current, is equal to 0. Similarly, applying KVL to mesh 2, it is minus of 40 minus of 2 into I2 minus I1, because I am in the second mesh, I'm giving more preference to the secondary current, and minus of 4 into I2 because my current direction and my moving direction is the same. Hence, I'll get I1 and I2. And if I want to find out what is the current flowing through I2 through the 2 ohm resistor, I will just do I1 minus I2. That is 5 minus of minus 5 is equal to 10. And my direction is downwards because I've considered I1 as my primary. So since I1 is my primary, I1 is moving downward in 2 ohms, hence my current direction is downward. Had my I2 ohms, I written I2 minus I1, then in that case it would have been, the direction would have been up, because my I2 is in the upper direction for resistance 2 ohms. I hope I'm very clear. If you have any doubts, please download this PDF and rewind my video, see it again. I'm sure you'll be able to understand it. Now we come to the next concept, that is KCL. After KVL, we have KCL. So in KCL, what does it state? It states that the sum of the current flowing towards any junction is equal to the sum of the current flowing away from the junction. So what does it mean? This is my junction A, wherein all my currents are coming inward or going outside. So it states that whatever is the current coming inside, the algebraic sum of that will be equal to the algebraic sum of current moving outside from that particular junction or node. I hope I am very clear. Again, in the form of a numerical, we'll try to understand the concept as we did in case of KVL. So here you see a diagram is given to you wherein you have a junction A, Ix is moving outside, Iy is coming inside, Iz is coming inside, 3 amperes is going outside, 5 amperes is coming inside. So I will apply KCL at junction A, and what is KCL means? My algebraic sum of current entering inside is equal to algebraic sum of current moving outside. So if you see the equation, first let us understand the question. The question says, find Ix if Iy is equal to 2 ohms and Iz is equal to 0 ohms. So we'll try to apply KCL at node A. So we'll try to apply KCL at node A. So what can we say? The currents moving outside is equal to the currents coming inside. So what are the currents moving outside? Ix plus 3 and nothing else, right? Because everything is moving inside there. So we have Ix plus 3, which is the current moving outside, is equal to the current coming inside, that is 5 plus Iy plus Iz. So this equation you get from where? Ix plus 3 is the current going outside, is equal to 5 plus Iz plus Iy is the current moving inside. So the algebraic sum of current moving outside is equal to the algebraic sum of current moving inside. So here if you see, my Iy is 2, Iz is 0. Finally my Ix is equal to 4 amperes. So in such a way the concepts are there. So what all did we learn in today's class? Let us have a revision. What is a network? A network is nothing else than a combination, a assembly of my network elements. But a circuit is like a network, but it will be present in a closed path. It won't be an open path. Hence I can say every circuit is a network because it's an assembly of elements. But every network may or may not be a circuit, because that is possible that a network may not be present in a closed path. Hence, every circuit is a network, but every network may or may not be a circuit. We learned about the different equations over here for resistance, inductor and capacitor, voltages and current. Always remember, voltage is across an element, current is through an element. What are different kind of network elements like linear, non-linear, active, passive, bilateral, unilateral? Then what is KVL? Please one time see these rules which I have written over here. This is the standards that I use and it helps me in the numerical. So once you understand these rules, that moving out of a negative voltage source is negative, moving out of positive voltage source is positive. If the current direction and your direction in which you are moving is same, you have a negative voltage drop. If you are moving in the opposite direction of the current, you have a positive voltage drop. So apply these rules over here in the equation for mesh 1 and mesh 2, and you will get the two currents I1, I2, and finally you can try to find out I2. Next we have KCL. KCL, what does it mean? That the current entering into the junction, algebraic sum, is equal to the current entering outside the junction, the algebraic sum. So if you see over here, Ix plus 3, which is moving outside, is equal to phi plus Iy plus Iz. That means the algebraic sum of current entering into a junction is equal to algebraic sum of current moving out of a junction. And then you can solve this numerical. So please, I have tried my level best to explain the concepts clearly. These are the most simple and the basic concept. I feel that many of you might be aware about. You might have got a more clear understanding. The ones who are not aware about, I'm sure you might have understood this after this particular lecture. If you understood the concept properly, please give a big fat thumbs up in the comment section. Give a big yes, give a big like, share it to as many as you can, because this concept is applicable for many branches of engineering, so that everyone can get benefited out of it. Share it to your friends, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so that you get the notification whenever a new video is made live. Also, I'm on Instagram, so please follow me on Instagram also. My channel's name is Explore Edu to Teach. I will be back with another lecture moving forward with control system very soon. So take care. God bless.